Alright. Bueno, el stream de Sakura se supone que empieza ahí en unos minutos. Soy Akot. Siempre he querido grabar mi reacción cerca de un reveal de un personaje de Smash. Así que, bueno, es el quinto personaje de la primera temporada. So, ¿por qué no grabarlo? A ver qué sale. Te costó mi camisa, compré en Nueva York. Es un buen de frío, eso sí. Pero ya en unos, ¿qué será? 6 minutos debería empezar esta madre. Predicciones, pues todo el mundo parece decir que es Dante. Dante sería genial. Yo la verdad estoy más que contento con cualquier cosa que nos den. Sakurai es... Smash Bros. Es un muy buen juego. Es el mejor Smash Bros. Que ha habido hasta ahora. Perdón, fans de Melee. Pero en términos de cantidad de contenido, es incomparable lo que ha hecho Smash Brothers al juntar tantas franquicias, tantos juegos. Y Ultimate en particular se siente como ¿cómo decirlo? Es como un homenaje a todo lo que son los videojuegos. Es un homenaje a todos estos personajes. Y ya, se siente increíble verlos pelear juntos, estar en el mismo escenario, de diversas formas, pero ya, es interesante. Mi esperanza personal es que fuera Sora, pero nada, es un rollo traerlo. Shantae también me encantaría. Shantae es tal vez de mis personajes indie la que más espero. Personajes de Nintendo, Byleth de Fire Emblem, yo creo que sería un excelente personaje. Me encantaría verla en vivo, pero bueno, vamos a ver qué sale ahorita con este. Y de cualquier manera tenemos otros Season Pass en camino, así que tenemos otros, muchos más para el resto del año, sin duda. No sé si haga esto más seguido. Definitivamente lo quiero hacer si sale algo más de Kingdom Hearts, pero no soy mucho de mostrar mi cara y así. Tampoco tengo precisamente el estudio más chido. Estoy grabando desde atrás de mi closet para poder hacer esto. Tengo la tele aquí enfrente, así que es para poder ver así la reacción. Pero bueno, vamos a ver qué sale. Estoy listo para ser sorprendido. There we go.
Hello everyone, I'm Masahiro Sakurai, director of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate from Sora Limited. We'll be using today's showcase to give you a first look at our next DLC fighter. Actually, hardly anyone knows what we'll be announcing today, even among Nintendo staff worldwide. The development team and other stakeholders have been working on this fighter with the utmost secrecy, which means other Nintendo staff around the globe will only start making preparations for release after the showcase has been broadcast. So, it won't be available right away. Please understand that it will take a little time. I think even many Nintendo employees will be surprised to see this and say, "Wow, really?" So, let's all share in the fun of getting our hands on the latest information. However, even if you say, "That's not the character I was picturing," I hope you don't have any hard feelings. We've prepared a fighter reveal video. Once it starts, I think you'll figure out who it is pretty quickly. Now, let's do this.
Okay, here we go. Vamos a ver. Oh, so exciting. Byleth? It's Byleth? Nice.
The time has finally come to unleash the forbidden spell of Zaharas upon our enemies!
Alright, it's Byleth. Ajá, es la escena.
What were you thinking, charging right into an enemy's trap? As you and I are one, I too am trapped within this void. In time, our hearts and minds will cease to be. Are you prepared to die? I thought as much. I also do not wish to die. And yet,
Claro, tenía que ser Byleth. Tiene sentido.
there is no other choice. You must join Smash.
Wait, what?
Join Smash Brothers already! What in the world are you waiting for?
Ah, por supuesto. Yeah, Byleth!
So joining Smash consumes even the darkness itself.
A huevo. Yeah! Ay, ¡ah! Mira que estoy atrás. Nice. Cloud, my boy. Yes. Okay.
So return, and sooner than expected. I see. How many swordsmen are there? And you wield the sword as well? What will you do?
Oh, female Byleth, nice.
So that is how you plan to win the day? So be it. I reward your cleverness this time.
Okay, ¿qué va a hacer? ¿Qué va a hacer? Wow, son las
How is
armas
this?
de Dimitri, Cloud, Middlegat. Ok. ¿Qué va a hacer?
Of anyone, you should be able to handle the hero's relics.
Yes. Estoy usando las armas de ellos. Nice.
Superior reach. Use Amir's overwhelming power.
Nice.
Unleash the blinding
¿Cómo las
speed of
cambio?
Failnaught.
Nice.
Along with the sword of the creator. Each weapon matches a direction.
Oh, ya. Ok. Ah, final Byleth se ve muy linda.
Your will and mine be now as one.
Ok, van
To you,
a smash.
both sides of time are revealed. Through Smash,
Oh,
show the world.
ah, me encanta. Yes. Yeah. All right. Ya sé que muchos van a odiarlo, pero no, me vale verga. Byleth. Yes.
Hi.
Oh, pinche
Yes,
Sakurai.
there you have it. Byleth from Fire Emblem Three Houses is joining the battle. Fire
Hell
Emblem Three
yeah.
Houses was released just last summer, so it's still very new. Even so, you'll soon be able to play as them in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. This release is planned for January 28th. You'll have instant access if you have the Super Smash Bros.
Dos
Ultimate
semanitas,
Fighter
no hay pedo,
Pack,
no hay pedo,
and it will
pago.
also be available
Necesito
for
pagar,
purchase
dicho.
individually. In case you're not familiar with Fire Emblem or Three Houses, I'll explain a few things, so don't worry.
Okay.
First off, what is Fire Emblem?
Muy bien, Sakurai
It's
está
really
dando
hard
clase
to
de
pronounce
Fire
in
Emblem. Pongan
Japanese.
atención,
The
hijos de la
producer
verga.
said it's
Se
okay
lo
if
estaban
I
metiendo
just
como
say
15
Fire
personajes
Emblem.
de ellos, ya es para que supieran qué es esto.
But when writing it, if you don't write Fire Emblem, the Fire Emblem police will come and get you, so please be careful. The series' first entry launched in Japan on the Famicom in 1990. You could say it was a
Insisto,
pioneer
Sakurai
in the genre
estaría
of
perfecto para
tactical
un canal
role-playing
así
games.
de...
You might be
Bueno,
wondering
ya
what
cuando se
makes it
jubile, lo que sea,
particularly
nada más
tactical.
que esté así nada más
Well, it's tactical in that it
jugando,
simulates
explicando
combat.
historia de juegos.
You can think of
y
it
así.
as
Sea
moving
muy
pieces
chido.
in a board game. Or in other words, a game in which you advance units across a grid and battle.
Y sí, digo, por si no sabían, Fire Emblem Three Houses fue mi juego del año, así que...
When we talk
Estoy
about
más que
tactical games of that
emocionado,
era,
vaya.
there were lots of ones in which you
Yes.
command tanks, aircrafts, and so on. But
Pero
Fire
en
Emblem
Twitter
was
sí
unique
está
because each
pudriendo
unit
ahorita de
was a
comentarios
specific character,
negativos y así.
sort of like in role-playing games. Plus, something made it stand out from other Nintendo products. Characters could permanently die. That's pretty direct language though, so perhaps we should just say they're sleeping with the fishes. But really, if a character fell in battle, you lose that unit. They'd be gone and you couldn't use them again. Recent entries in the series maintain this concept of permadeath to some degree in classic mode and what have you, but a lot of games now allow strategic withdrawals, so to speak. In the older games, your units would really be gone, never to be mentioned again. Scary. The game's stories are told like chronicles of war, with increasingly distinct characters and engrossing scenarios. Several characters also appear in the Super Smash Bros. Series, and 6 of the 7 can use a counterattack. It's their down special. There's actually a reason for this. When I was considering how to incorporate Fire Emblem fighters into Super Smash Bros. Melee, I thought it might be interesting to reflect the turn-based nature of the original game. First comes your opponent's turn. They attack and you counter. Next comes your turn.
Así que ahí viene la idea del counter.
And now, Fire Emblem Three Houses is the 17th game in the series. People who aren't Japanese in particular might be thinking, 17 games? There are that many? Well, if you include Fire Emblem Heroes in the remakes, but you don't include the Satellaview game, Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE, and Fire Emblem Warriors, then it comes out to 17 games. Let's try saying them in the Fire Emblem Can You Say It challenge.
Motherfucking Byleth.
I'll give it a try.
Y Sakura se ve que es fan, se ve que es fan enorme de estos juegos. Así, mal plan. Digo, también ayuda que es una franquicia que está en Nintendo. Y tiene sentido, o sea,
there you go, 17.
Fire Emblem está a punto de... Oh, you
So you saw how I was counting
Fire
in a weird
Emblem
way, right?
estaba por morirse.
I was counting in binary. This is 0.
Antes de Awakening.
This here and you get
Se supone
1,
que Awakening iba a
and then you
ser
get 2,
el
2
último.
plus 1 equals 3,
Y
so this would be
salió
4,
Awakening
5,
y
6,
dio un
7,
mega
and
boom a
8.
la saga
And then you get 16.
que
As 1 and you get 17.
nadie esperaba. Y
Awesome, isn't it?
Three Houses es de los juegos más
You can
vendidos
actually
en su
count up to
género.
31 on one hand.
Es de hecho el más vendido en...
And if you use both hands, you can count all the way up to
Claro, tiene mucho sentido
1020.
que metan a Byleth. Aparte es de Nintendo, no pueden estar metiendo tier parts.
If you've given up counting the knots in the tatami mat, you could always give it a
Un
go.
personaje de Nintendo no hace daño.
What is Fire Emblem Three Houses? In Japanese, the male version of the main character is called Bereto and the female version is called Beresu, but in English they share the same name, Byleth. Byleth becomes a professor who ends up leading one of 3 academic houses. Once you've chosen a house, you guide them through their school life, and, well, you end up fighting the other houses. After a certain incident, 5 years pass, and you meet up with your grown-up students to battle against the other houses in their regions. It's a very sad game in which your former allies become enemies, turn hostile, and try to kill you. To understand the concept of Fire Emblem Three Houses, I played an early version of the game before its release.
Perro.
I've done the same thing before, with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, for example.
Le dan,
Because I couldn't wait
le dan
until launch
demos
to
a
experience it,
Sakura
or
y
we'd have
ven-
never made it in time. For that title, I borrowed an early version of the game for 2 days, ran around all the areas, saw the ending, and realized for the first time, I guess we can't really have Breath of the Wild's Princess Zelda as a fighter. I did the same this time, but with there being 3 houses and multiple endings, it was really hard to get a feel for it. And of course, there weren't any walkthroughs I could reference. The game has multiple routes and the outcome of each is very different. Your experience will vary depending on the route you choose, and many of the characters you meet will adopt different roles in the story. I'll try to avoid spoilers when I'm talking about the fighter. I hope you'll understand. Before my demonstration, I should point out that when I did the Terry Bogard showcase video, I mentioned that it was recorded a month in advance. But this time, we have to account for the holidays and such, so we're filming 2 months in advance of this video's release. Right now, it's actually November. Therefore, some of what I'm about to show you might differ a bit from the finished version. As always, I'm using a special in-game camera and such for demonstration purposes. Here I go.
Muy bien, vamos. Vamos a ver qué tal se juega Byleth. Yes.
So, this is our new fighter, Byleth. Sadly, they're lacking in mobility. It's maybe a bit better than Robin's, but that's about all you can say for them. Throws are not their strong point either. Their grab lacks range. But actually, you could say that they're distance demons. The hero's relic they use changes depending on the direction you input with the stick. Each of the hero's relics is a weapon that appears in Fire Emblem Three Houses. They look like bones, and there's a reason for that. First, let's talk about the weapon Byleth uses for upward inputs, the Sword of the Creator. The Sword of the Creator here is Byleth's default weapon. They use it for flurry attacks and tilt attacks, such as down tilt attacks, where it takes the form of a whip. They also use the sword for dash attacks and other moves. For their up smash attack, they'll whip the sword upward to launch enemies in the air. For their up air attack, they'll wave the whip sword overhead. The hit detection for this attack lasts for a relatively long time. The up special move is really something. The sword extends like this, allowing you to do things like this.
Okay.
It was pretty terrifying how I knocked him into the air with that attack. And in addition, you can do awful things like this. That said, you'll launch opponents upward until their damage reaches a certain percentage.
Oh, está bien chido.
Exceed that percentage and you'll need to be careful. You may find it helpful to mid-air dodge. I've already shown this, but you can also use it to latch onto edges. So that's the up special. Now, for the sideways inputs. This is Erdvar, the same name as the weapon from Celtic mythology. First, we'll go through the forward and back air attacks. As you can see, they have a long reach. Like so. Marth's air attack keeps opponents in check too, right? If Byleth does the same thing, you'd win out, so you should be able to beat it. Next, the side smash attack. This also has a long range. It'll connect even from here. Also, if you add an upward tilt, it will be stronger. And if you've knocked an opponent down, the side attack won't hit unless you add a downward tilt to aim for them.
Nice.
By the way, the tip of the lance is more powerful. The shaft part is weaker, so it's not suited to close combat. It won't deal much damage, and it won't launch opponents far. That's why, as a rule, you want to hit with the blade part aimed upward. Or downward in this case. Next, the side special move. Byleth will simply swing the lance like this, but again, it has excellent reach. For example, even when your opponent is at this distance, it'll still hit. Actually, you can do a smash attack to charge forward a little, like this. But as you'd expect, it can be easily shielded, so be careful. Use it in midair and you'll carve up a large area. Returning to the side air attacks from earlier, they have great horizontal reach, but they lack verticality. So this complements it well, although you'll be vulnerable when you land. Now, for the downward inputs. For these, Byleth will use an axe called Emir.
El hacha del
It's
dragón.
named after a weapon that appears in Ugaritic myth. First, the down air attack. It really is strong. You can try for a meteor effect with this attack. Next is the down smash attack. A heavy swing of the axe back and forth. As you can see, it has a great deal of launch power. And for the down special, Byleth channels all their energy into a devastating strike. It's a bold move, similar to the Falcon Punch, but here's what makes it different. When readying the move, there's a super armor effect,
Ah, tiene super armor.
which
Ay,
allows you to
verga.
withstand an attack. Just so you know, if you execute a
Ah,
Falcon
está
Punch
bien
in about the
OP.
same time, it plays
Ah,
out
la
like this.
verga, aguantó un Falcon Punch.
It's a bit slower than the Falcon Punch, but due to the super armor effect, you have the advantage. Unless you get grabbed.
Oh, claro.
Another notable aspect is that it lets you pass through platforms. While you're charging up, you can breeze past platforms like this to reach a lower area. It won't let you jump, but you can use it as a surprise attack. Also, you can turn around during the move. The swing takes a while,
Ah, claro.
so if an opponent runs behind you during the move, you can quickly change direction. Even though it can be hard to land a hit with this move, it can be really effective when used against a group of opponents. Plus, even if you fail to land a direct hit, any opponents on the ground nearby will still be launched a little. It's as if the quaking of the ground launches
Entonces, si
them.
falla, haz un launch. Está bien
By the way,
cabrón.
earlier I talked a little bit about the other Fire Emblem characters' moves. I don't recommend using this down special against fighters from the Fire Emblem series, because you'll just get loads of counters. It hits with that much power in a single
Ok,
attack.
entonces
Counters
Byleth tiene
can
un
actually
counter. Bueno, al
multiply
menos es
the power
diferente en
of
eso.
blocked attacks, and using easily anticipated attacks like this could just get you hit by counter after counter. Next, we have the neutral moves. The bow you use is called Failnaught, which shares its name with the bow from the Knights of the Round Table.
Ah, sí.
It only appears in a few neutral moves. You've got the neutral air attack. This attack is similar to a move of Pit's and other fighters like
Arma
you.
Cloud.
It lets you spin the
Boy.
weapon around. It's also easy to create certain combos with it. And with the neutral special, you'll let loose an arrow. It seems pretty straightforward, right?
Entonces.
But there are a few
Yuri va a
noteworthy
tener
aspects
otro
to this
arco.
bow.
Nice.
First, the biggest difference between this bow and Link's is that once you enter the command, you can keep charging until it's ready. You can't release it partway through the charge, so when it does fire, the arrow travels at high speed. It's also very powerful.
Ok, entonces requiere
That
cargar.
said, you can still cancel out of the stance using the shield button. You can also change direction while in the stance. It works up until this point, but if you keep holding the button, you'll unleash a powerful arrow
Oh,
that looks like a beam
nice.
of light. You can perform this move by keeping the
como
button
el
held
movimiento final
down.
de Cloud. Spoiler alert.
You charge up power like so, charge a bit more, and then fire.
Ajá.
But again,
Ah,
you'll need to
verga,
take care when using this move.
30%. Me quedan chingo
For
de carga,
one,
pero está
when you've
bueno.
powered up the move to its max, there's no way to cancel out of it. Not even with the shield button. In other words, you're committed to firing it. So you see, a situation like this is pretty terrible.
Así.
Once you've entered the stance, you won't be able to do anything. Which means it's quite the risky attack to use against fighters who have a move with a reflector effect. But you could always just aim into the fray, as it is, after all, a long-range move, letting you deal a sudden blow to opponents. So you need to think carefully when using this projectile weapon. Byleth's final smash is called Progenitor God Ruptured Heaven. In the original game, there's a move called Ruptured Heaven. This is an enhanced version.
Oh. Eso que es.
As you can see, you team up with the mysterious Sophist and launch an attack together.
Por todo el stage va por todo Garrett Mac. Ya apareció en el mercado. La sala común, ahora están en
Now, let's talk about the color
en la
variations.
iglesia.
It's set up so that the default and odd-numbered color variations are male, while the even-numbered ones are female. However, the third, fourth, and fifth colors are, as you can see, reminiscent of the house leaders.
Ah, está bien chido.
Those of you who played the original game will of course understand what I'm referring to. The sixth color is based on Sophis, who you just saw earlier.
Ah, claro.
And the seventh and eighth variations have a different hair color, which is based on something that occurs in the course of the original game's story. Didn't we see this variation in the final
Muy
Smash?
bien. Ah, se ve muy bien Female Byleth. Está muy chingón.
Next, I'll introduce the stage. For this one, we of course tried to recreate the place where you spend most of the game, Garreg Mach Monastery. This is how Garreg Mach Monastery is laid out in the original game. From these, we chose to have it cycle through the marketplace, reception hall, bridge, and cathedral, all in one stage. It's the type of stage that rotates through different areas, such as these four. Let me introduce each of the guests that appear in these four areas. The first area is the marketplace. I think this is where a lot of people come to do their shopping. The guests that appear here are students of the Blue Lion's house, Dimitri, Dedu, and Ingrid. Not Dimitri,
Oh, nice.
Dudu, or Ingrid. Their names are a bit difficult to say. They're largely from the Holy Kingdom of Fargus. Since it's a kingdom, that means they have a monarchy. For that reason, I guess you could say Dimitri is the
¿Dónde
future
está
king.
mi Ash,
He had
man?
quite the difficult life and may or may not end up with just one eye. He's an unfortunate one, that one. There are vendors on either side. In the original game, these are important booths where you buy all sorts of things, but here you can break them, you see.
Okay.
If you do break them, the stage will expand to the left and right. I wonder where people will buy their supplies now. And in the background, you can see the gatekeeper.
Ah, yeah, gatekeeper.
You often pass through this area in Fire Emblem Three Houses, and you end up talking to him a lot. Moving through these areas is possible thanks to this mysterious platform. Just when it seems like you've come to a
Oh,
stop,
nice.
you'll come crashing back down. You've broken through the ceiling and slammed into the building. And the guests in the reception hall are Edelgard, Dorothea, and Petra of the Black Eagles. Take note, it's not spelled Edelgard. They're from the Adressian Empire. And as such, they embrace their military might. Edelgard is one of the characters who is central to the conflict. Depending on the path you take, she'll go through some terrible ordeals.
Che, Edelgard.
You'll notice there are prominent chandeliers above the stage. It's possible to knock them down.
Ah, claro.
However, Byleth can't actually reach it, even though it's their stage. You can reach it with
Oh,
other
mira.
fighters, though. So, it's
Okay.
nice if you can work your way up there by getting lucky and being launched up, or perhaps by using another fighter as a stepping stone. There we go, I made it.
Oh,
And
mira.
you can knock it down.
Eso explica.
Also, you can break this table. Like so.
Oh,
Just like the sign that reads
Propiedad de
Fuden Kaza in the
Sakurai.
Suzaku Castle stage, it can break if you launch the opponent into it at close range. Next up, the bridge. The
Okay.
camera
What's the
rotates
name?
90
Golden Deer?
degrees, creating this long area. It's very wide indeed.
yes.
It's similar to the Bridge of Elden
Está
stage.
chido.
The guests are from the Golden Deer, Claude, Hilda, and Lawrence. They belong to the Leicester
Y
Alliance.
el otro güey. Lawrence, really? Pudieron haber puesto a
Because it's an
Marianne.
alliance of many noble families, you could say that they have a wide
Literal
assortment of
cualquiera.
members. And Claude is the sharpest of the bunch.
Lawrence, really? Man.
Incidentally, both Claude and Hilda are the names of characters that appear in Genealogy of the Holy War, the fourth title in the Fire Emblem series. I guess once you've reached the 17th game and are creating 40 characters for each new entry, you're bound to get a bit of name overlap. The naming process must be tough. Hey, it looks like the Pegasus Knight
Sí,
is
bueno,
busy training.
está metiendo a alguien que se llama Just
As for the bridge's design, it's just a long pathway,
así que
plain and simple. You can expect plenty of blows to be exchanged at the edges of the screen. You could also say it's a place where the fail knot really shines, and in this sense, I think it suits the golden gear perfectly.
mis chamacos, ahí están. No podría estar más feliz.
The last area is the cathedral,
Ah, claro.
only with some platforms you can pass through. The guests appearing in the cathedral are Sedith, Flame, and Rhea. There's Sedith, who appears to have an extremely strong bond with his sister,
Niña
Flame.
pescado.
She seems to be under the protection of him and Rhea, who you can see fighting during the opening of Fire Emblem Three Houses. All three have character quirks related to their true identities. I feel that Flame might be saying shush at this point, so I'll leave it at that. This is a simple area of the stage. All it has are these platforms. Being the last area, it may be a place where some intense battles will be waged. It'll cycle through each location in about 2.5 minutes.
2 minutos y medio entre... No está mal, está bien.
Okay, today we'll have a tag team battle in Squad Strike with the DLC team pitted against Fire Emblem protagonists from throughout the ages. That'll give us precisely 5
Okay.
players per side. Alright, here we go, Joker. Joker!
Ok, ya.
And Hero!
Quiero
Gee,
hacer
we
esto
really made a
con-
lot, huh? Banjo! By now, I think you know what I'm doing. But basically, I'm trying to defeat all 5 opponents with just the Professor gear. But as expected,
Muy
it's
bien,
going to be a
okay,
pretty
okay,
tough
Sakurai.
battle, so I'm using anything I can
I
get
see
my
your
hands on.
game.
It's not going to land that easily. Uh-oh, this is bad. Bennigan's. I better keep my distance.
Smash is... Un juegazo.
I'll use this chance to attack. Got him.
Nice.
That's scary.
Y quizás
He's
que se
invincible
quede
for a
ahí.
moment here. Lots of explosives. Ouch. Perfect shield at that, huh?
Pero duro.
Good one. If I do this, like this, or like so. No anti-air, huh? There, the soccer ball connected.
Nice.
Good, there's Mom. You're in a good spot, Mom. Ah, I shouldn't have taken that. Gardevoir. Well, I guess no one uses projectiles. At this point, it doesn't matter if Gardevoir's there or not.
Ok. Ustedes
I
deben
feel like the
intentar
enemy
eso
might
también.
get this smash ball. See? They got it.
Sí.
But I mustn't give up.
Quizás quieres evitar eso.
I can't waste the chance.
Ah, perro. Pero
There's
¿por
another
qué
smash ball.
Martse?
Yes, got it. Now, what are you charging up for?
Ah, ¿lo empiezas tú? Nice.
There's still more.
El Byleth se ve genial.
Whack. Go on, you can take the hammer, but it's mine. Although I'm scared I might get hit with a counter in this state. I hit him.
Nice.
I was trying to fight using Byleth's abilities alone, but what matters is that I won. Good game.
Exacto.
It can be fun to play like this, especially in tag team, so I think it's a good idea to try imposing different types of challenges on yourself.
Sí,
The
los
end.
tag teams son muy divertidos, de hecho. Me encanta jugar en tag team. Y me encanta ver los torneos también en tag team.
Now, about the additional
Tienen un
music.
chingo de canciones.
Since it's from the Fire Emblem series, we'll be adding each of the new tracks to all the Fire Emblem stages. There are already a lot of Fire Emblem tracks in the game. Our selection this time has been made taking those existing tracks into consideration. 11 songs are being added.
Solo dos
This
nuevas
includes an
arrangements.
arrangement of the main theme in both Japanese and English. I hope you'll enjoy these as well.
Ay, pero el
We're
soundtrack
also
es
adding
muy
in a
bueno
new spirit board.
con eso. Ah, claro.
It includes the house leaders among some of the other popular characters. Sothis is legend class.
Ah, claro.
Also, there's a new classic mode route, a heroic legacy, which is designed to let you enjoy classic Fire Emblem stages from throughout the series' history. The final battle is against Master Hand and Crazy Hand, but you'll find that something pretty amusing happens, so look forward to that.
Okay.
Now for the
okay.
Mii Fighter costumes. Please take a look.
Mii Fighters. Sale. Ah, tengo un traje de Garrett mágico, con eso la hago. ¡Ah, no mames, Ezio! ¡Ah, no, Altair! ¡Altair! ¡Ah, genial! ¡Yes! ¡Ah, se ve bien chido! ¡Ah, finalmente! Ubisoft está muy chingón. Nice. Alright. Ah, claro. Creo que no había traje de X. Había el 0, pero no el de X. Chingón. ¿Qué es lo que? ¿Network? Eso va a ser feliz a varios. Nunca jugué esos, pero tengo entendido que son favoritos de varios. ¿Qué? ¿Es en serio? ¡Yes! Y trae un track también, Cuphead. ¡Yes! ¡Ah, se ve bien chido! ¡Ah, qué buen pack! ¡Yeah! Ok, voy a quedar el del Altair, el de Cuphead. ¡Yes! Hasta el 28. Está bien.
This time, we're releasing a Cuphead costume. And for those of you who purchased the Cuphead costume, an additional song will be added. It's called Floral Fury, and it's the theme that plays when fighting Cagney Carnation. I hope you enjoy these as well.
Yeah, se ve chingón.
After purchasing a costume, I recommend using the sharing feature. If someone has created a Mii Fighter, you can play using the costume it's wearing immediately after you download it.
Nice.
And now, onto the amiibo.
Ooh.
The color palette for Dark Samus looks pretty good, doesn't it? Dark Samus and Richter are planned for release on Friday, January 17th. And now, with the addition of Byleth, the Fighter's Pass is finally complete. The lineup was Joker, Hero, Banjo and Kazooie, Terry Bogard, and Byleth.
Está muy bien, la verdad.
From more than 70 fighters, only 5 have been added. But I must say, this game has always been an exceptional experience. And since the roster was already so large to begin with, right from the start, we intended to make the most out of the new gameplay mechanics and so on. There really were a lot of new mechanics, weren't there? When we add a new fighter, we don't simply make their attacks or their movements a little different. Instead, we try to offer you a whole new style of play. As I stated, we'll continue to release more DLC fighters down the line. I had thought that 1 or 2 might suffice, but, well, have a look.
Okay. Yes. Alright. 11. Okay, tenemos 6 nuevos.
Looks like there'll be one more fighter than last time. For this
Okay.
reason, we will be releasing the
Challenger
Super
Pack con
Smash
6
Bros. Ultimate
personajes.
Fighters Pass Volume 2. It will be available for pre-purchase on the date shown, so please keep an eye out. And now that it's official, we intend to move ahead with development. Of course, like last time, the contents will remain unknown for now, and I'm personally very sorry that we have to release Fighters Pass Volume 2 when the details have yet to be revealed.
Okay.
Like last time, I'd be very grateful if, despite that, you would understand why and purchase it. Furthermore, the new additions have already been decided. Even if I receive many requests regarding potential candidates on Twitter, I'm afraid it would be very hard to consider them. But I still hope you'll look forward to it. We're also including a bonus with Fighters Pass Volume 2. Last time, it was a Rex costume. But this time, here's what we have.
Okay, ¿cuál es el bonus?
It's a Mii Fighter costume for Mii Sword Fighter, the ancient soldier gear from The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. This will not be for sale individually, so it can only be acquired as part of Fighters Pass Volume 2.
Okay. No está tan chido.
It's been reported that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is the highest-selling fighting game in the world. Personally, I don't know if it counts as simply a fighting game, but I guess it's seen as a fighting game around the world. Seems like Street Fighter 2 was in the lead for a while, but now Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has surpassed it in total sales. However, I'm not sure if this is accurate. There were 5 versions of Street Fighter 2, or 6 to 7 if we really want to get into the weeds. Plus, there's the arcade versions and the 25 ports to other systems, so I don't know if that's been accounted for. Also, I don't know if that really qualifies as one game. It's up for discussion. So, who knows? But when it comes to a single piece of software, it seems like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is number 1. Although, I still don't know if it can really be called just a fighting game. I feel like it's become more than a fighting game, some sort of celebration of gaming or something else entirely. Also, I feel a deep attachment to the 5 DLC fighters. The first Fighters Pass just wrapped up, but it was decided that there would be more DLC, which means no breaks for me. I plan to keep working hard, so I hope you can continue to support us. That's it. Thank you.
Oh, está bien. Gracias por todo, Sakurai. Todo bien. Me encantó cómo se ve Byleth. Yo sé que Twitter ahorita está todo enojado por otro personaje de Fire Emblem, pero a mí me encantó. No podría estar más contento. Byleth se ve muy bien. Es un personaje con buen reach. Me encantó Three Houses. Por supuesto que voy a comprar. Bueno, ya está comprado con el Fire Pass, pero no podría estar más contento, la verdad. Ok, trataré de editar esto en un ratillo que pueda y lo subiré a YouTube y whatever. Gracias a todos por verme y ver mis terribles chistes y reacciones acerca de esto. Gracias por todo y nos vemos pues. Voy a jugar algo.